Hello, buddy. Welcome back. I'm the Stretch Professor, and we're just going to do some real quick patch notes for patch 8.18. So obviously a little bit later than my patch notes usually are, but a couple of people have asked, can I still do the patch notes? The last couple of patches haven't really been super significant, and I've been, traveling out of town during the week, so I just went ahead and skipped them. But I can come back and do them. If people really want to see them, I can do them. So we'll try to go through them pretty quickly here. I'm going to do it without the Google Doc, because this is already a pretty good visual aid, I think, of what's going on. But let's just go ahead and walk through it. This is almost all for professional games, so it shouldn't really impact solo queue that much, but we can go into it here. Okay, and as always, there will be timestamps in the description if you want to jump around to the most interesting parts. Okay, so with Aatrox, Umbral Dash, just his late game healing is going to be hit off of that. I don't think this guy is too much of a powerhouse in solo queue. We can pull up Lolalytics here real quick. I mean, he's alright. But I just... Let's play in the top lane here. Give me the detailed. Okay, they gave it this black background instead of white now, apparently, but... Top lane. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I mean, it's at 49%. I mean, and stats aren't everything. I just do not see this champion hard carrying a lot of games. Like, he's okay. I just don't think he's that much of a menace. Like, he's alright, but he can be CC'd and dealt with. I think there are a lot of other bruisers that are similarly problematic if they get really fed and far ahead top lane. Things like Jax can be a big problem. Irelia can be really good. Even stuff like Fiora and Camille can be really good if they get pretty far ahead as far as, just tanky damage dealers in the top lane. So, I don't think it's really going to impact it that much. He does get some extra damage if he wants to itemize into damage on his R, which is nice later in the game, but not going to matter that much for solo queue, not going to disrupt the meta that much for solo queue, I don't think. Although he is played, I think he's played quite a bit in pro play because of his early game sustain, if you really know how to trade with him well. Akali, they're dialing down her damage on her ult, so they're taking it to 100, 150, 200. So she is losing some damage on the end. Once again, I don't think this is a huge deal in solo queue because most people who play her are bad on her. Yeah, she's got, it's a 48% win rate. But it does stop people from suicide, or from snowballing, I meant to say, if they get going really quickly. So I think there are other assassins, once again, that are just going to be more reliable, a lot more dangerous than Akali. Ahri is basically an assassin right now. She's ridiculous. She's very safe. Good wave clear. I mean, Akali doesn't have wave clear. She can be kind of safe in that smoke sometimes. She can work, but I just feel like there are other options, too, that in many cases outshine her. So, Ahri has, a 54% win rate right now. So, that's, 6 or 7% more. And she's basically an assassin. And then I think that things like Kassadin, even Diana, Fizz, is rocking 53%. I think there are just a lot of other things that are going to do better than Akali most of the time. But... Now, Braum, this is another one for pro play. Big deal. And I've talked about Braum before. People ask me, well, why don't I play Braum more? Why isn't he rated more highly? On my tier list, it's because the tier list for solo queue. And he gets outscaled by a lot of other champions out there. He doesn't really have a reliable way to start a fight either. I mean, you can ult, yes. You can hit people with Q, and, you can do it. But that's just not going to be as reliable as something like Pyke, Thresh, Leona... things like that, and it's not going to scale as hard as Nami or Rakan. But he's very, very good in a 0 gold economy, so if each side is just buying all control wards, tier 2 boots, and a tier 3 ward item, and that's all they get all game, which is a lot of pro games, then yes, he's very good because his shield gives him a ton of defensive power without any stats. It doesn't have much scaling on it at all. But the base number on it is really high, so it can block a lot. He's very good at team fights. He's very good on ganks. You know, he can stun a lot of people with his passive in team fights. So he has a huge team fight presence, and he has a lot of survivability without any stats at all. He just doesn't scale as well. So in solo queue, when you might get to 4 items, you know, he can be outdone by other champions. But in pro play, when you know, basically get your boots and that's it, then he's going to be very good. So knocking his health down, I don't think this is going to completely bring him out of pro play, but I think it's going to make him a little bit more vulnerable. So it's okay. He deserves to be knocked down a little bit because he's just picked all the time. No, not pro builds. Here we go. So this is in the last week. It's on different versions of the game. But you can see that Braum is played a ton, 34%. I don't know his win rate. I don't know if it'll tell us for just this week. But that's for the whole season. Presence by patch. Either way, you could see the green. Like, he's extremely popular and has a pretty high win rate. Whereas Alistar is, like, pretty popular. Is about 50-50. It looks like Tom Kench is kind of popular. Loses a lot. And a lot of these lose. So, basically, you see a lot of that red there on most support champs. Braum is one of the only ones that's green in pro play. And so that's why they're nerfing him. Because he performs way better than most other supports in pro play. Okay, Kai'Sa, so basically near the late game, she's going to do 5% less of the target's missing health, so that is going to be good against like all tanks, you know, when you're level 18, so going to affect pro play mostly because people don't play a lot of tanks in solo queue, at least until you get to Diamond Plus. I mean, you will see some comps that might have 1 or maybe 2 tanks, but you know, that's going to bring down her tank busting a little bit. But she still is going to be able to trigger this all the time, you know, with her Gensu's Rage Blade. So she's still going to be ridiculously strong. I still think she's the best AD carry on this patch. Both in pro play and in solo queue. And you can see that reflected too. She was picked 38 times. Next highest was Varus at 16. So really, really strong. Okay, Piercing Light, so the Q gets a better bonus attack damage ratio at really higher levels, so, you know, for most of the game, it's probably not going to matter that much. But, you know, once you start getting to level 9, I guess that's not as high of a level, right? So that's like based on ability level, rather. I was thinking level 18, but it's level 9. Extra point 2. I mean, he doesn't build a lot of attack damage, though. That's the thing. Like, he gets Blade of the Ruined King, which is a really low attack damage item. He gets Black Cleaver, which is another low attack damage item. Then a lot of times he'll get Phantom Dancer, which is no attack damage. And Infinity Edge has decent attack damage, but that's oftentimes his 3rd or 4th item. So, yeah, the extra point 2 is nice, but for most of the game, it's just probably not going to matter that much because he just doesn't get a lot of AD. Because he builds the on-hit and the armor shred. So, it's nice, but I don't think it's going to matter that much for him. Lucian has been pretty popular, though, and I think he's had a decent win rate. Yeah, he's the 2nd most popular AD carry right now. With one of the highest win rates. So, yeah, he's pretty strong. Misfortune's a bit higher. You know, like Jinx and Draven are marginally higher, but... yeah, very effective AD carry. Like, that mobility is really nice for dodging hooks. A lot of the hook champions are coming back. Hook-ish champions, the Thresh, the Leona, the Pike. All that stuff's becoming pretty popular again. And he can dodge out of that, which is pretty good. He also functions very well with Nami because his double shot or whatever can proc her E twice. So he has really good synergy with Nami. In pro play, he has good synergy with Braum. I don't know if we're going to see him a lot in pro play. Like, they're trying to push him into pro play, but the problem is he's so short range, and, like, his scaling, particularly at busting tanks, is not that great. So, yeah, he was not played at all. And he just doesn't have a lot of CC or, like, team utility, wave clear, anything like that. You notice a lot of the top picks, like, Kai'Sa's just overpowered. She just does way too much damage. has a lot of utility and scaling. You know, some of the other ones like Varus also has pretty good scaling, pretty good at busting tanks, and he has really good team utility with his ult. And then Ashe also has good team utility with the ult. And Ezreal also has pretty good utility because he's ridiculously safe and offers good poke and siege. And then Rzye is just pretty good at team fights with laying down all of her feathers and has decent utility with her ult and with her feather like callback. So, and she's very good with Rakan general. So that's kind of the trend in pro plays. I don't think it's going to affect pro play that much. It will make him a little bit stronger in solo queue, and he's already pretty strong in solo queue. So Renekton, I don't think is going to matter that much. I mean, this is cool. If you do the empowered E, you get 10% extra armor shred, which is great, and it does like a little bit more damage, but most of the time people will use the empowered Q or the empowered W, I think. It's been a long time since I've played Renekton. I don't see him a lot. But a nice little innocuous buff. I mean, he's probably close to 50%, I would say. Yeah, he's at 51%. So he's okay. He's not like a huge menace. I don't think this is going to matter that much, but it's nice. It's a decent, you know, decent little tap in the right direction. Rise, root duration from 2 seconds to 1.5. I think this is probably pretty good for pro play. He needs to be dialed down a little bit. You know, he's got a really high win rate and a really high play rate in pro play, and that's not healthy. Although he's pretty bad in solo queue. So Rise is just one of those champions where I just always caution people who say, "Oh, should I one-trick Rise?" I'm like, I probably wouldn't, because they're going to nerf it a lot for pro play. It's like Rise, Azir, Cassiopeia, and a main driver behind that is those champions are very good against tanks. They do very high sustained damage. So a lot of mages, you know, like a lot of the burst mages just are not that great into tanks, because tanks will just get match resist and they can, you know, live through the initial burst. But with those champions, they do really high sustained damage. So, you know, they're good at bursting people out and versus tanks. So yeah, he's only got a 46% win rate. Where's Azir sitting these days? Did I miss him? I don't know. We haven't seen Azir in ages, and I thought Azir was kind of fun to watch and to play against. Like, Azir can still be really good. Am I just, like, blind? There's literally no Azir? Oh, top lane. Okay, that's that's where I goofed up. Okay, so yeah, Azir's also at 46%. And then where's Rise in the middle? That was Rise top. Yeah, Rise in the middle is at, like, 44%. So, yeah, it's rough. So, pretty decent little nerf to pro play. 2 seconds is way too long for a point-click stun, I think. That's not an ultimate. So, we might still see him. I'm just not sure how much this is going to impact, like, pro trading. I think we'll still see him. I think he'll still be good, but this will moderate him a little bit. Sejuani, they're nerfing. I don't agree with this one. I think that all of this stuff is probably, like, okay. It makes sense because of, like, pro presence. But Sejuani, like, she has picked a lot, but she loses a lot. So, I mean, if you look, it looks like she's probably only won, like, 30%. I think Gragas is a much bigger menace right now. I'm seeing him a lot. He's very scary in solo queue, too. Sejuani's okay in solo queue. Like, someone was asking the other day, why do they always nerf Sejuani? It's because she has a lot of CC. She does percentage damage, she's quick, and she gets a lot of free tankiness. So, it's just... she's just a real pest. Like, she's very difficult to deal with. And how people deal with her usually is Trundle. And so, they're nerfing Trundle, so their thought process when they did this patch was they were trying to go next level and say, well, if we nerf Trundle, we also need to nerf Sej, because Trundle is the person who holds Sejuani in check. But then they forgot about Gragas, I think. And Gragas is becoming a lot more powerful than both of them. Now, Olaf and Skarner are also making comebacks as well. So, I think they're kind of selectively just grabbing Sejuani just because historically she's held down by Trundle. But, you know, with Trundle getting knocked down a little bit too, that's going to open up the field for Gragas, Skarner, a lot of picks. That's going to make Sion stronger. Sion's very popular in pro play right now in the top lane. Yeah, he's like second most picked top laner. So yeah, I don't really agree with this. I mean, they are just nerfing her damage. Now, nerfing this from 3 seconds to 1 second on the slow is a pretty big deal. But a 3-second slow is quite a long time. I just wish they'd give her some kind of compensation. Like, if you're going to nerf this kind of stuff, like, lower the cooldown on her charge or something. You know, like, just give her something. Give her better wave clear. Increase the damage to monsters or minions with her W or just something. You know, I feel like she needs a little bit of something. But anyway, so she's nerfed. I wouldn't play her in solo queue. If you want to play a tank in the jungler, I'd play Gragas. Trundle, the slow percentage, this is actually a really big deal. Going from 30% slow at level 1 to 15 is kind of ridiculous, because this is, I think, what you would max second, maybe even third. You obviously max Chomp in the jungle first, but I think sometimes a lot of people would like to max the W for the like movement speed and the extra stats. Either way, now you have to max Pillar or you're going to be completely screwed. And like this increase to the cooldown is going to stick no matter what. So you can kind of get your slow percentage back later, but for the first little bit of the game, like people are just going to be able to walk around this Pillar probably. So, I don't think he was that much of a menace in pro play. Like, he's pretty good, but, like, it's not much more than 50%. He's not, like, abnormally picked. You know, like, Kai'Sa is, like, 38. The second most popular AD carry is 16. You know, like, that is wrong. Or, like, Rzye, next most popular, Irelia. You know, like, half. But all of these are pretty close. You know, 18 games, 17, 15, 12, 12. Like, there's a lot of champs that are viable in the jungle right now, and so I just don't think it was necessary to, you know, hit the Trundle that hard. But as far as, like, Aatrox earlier, you know, he's, like, the fourth. He's, like, 11 picks, whereas, like, Urgot, Sion, and Ornn are all higher. Anyways. Vayne, so they're really wanting Vayne, pro play Vayne to be a thing. This is nice if you go W max Vayne, which I'm not sure if she maxes Tumble or W these days, but this would allow you to go W first if you wanted to. That would probably give you more sustained damage. I'm not sure the exact numbers, Q versus W, but now you can go W max and then get 2 seconds off your Tumble, so it's helpful. Do I think that it's going to magically bring her back in the meta? Probably not. I still think that, like, Lucian and Kai'Sa are better, like, mobile champions for solo queue. But, you know, she's certainly worth thinking about, I suppose. You know, if they have, like, 3 tanks on their team, the problem with Vayne is she does, like, stone cold nothing in the laning phase. You know, like, the only thing you can really do is hope to pin someone into a wall with your E. Like, she has no follow-up CC. She has low range. She has no, like, spells that can do, like, decent chunk damage. You know, when you're thinking someone like Jinx, and she has no wave clear, think of someone like Jinx. Jinx can push the wave. Another popular pick. Jinx can push the wave. She can drop chompers on top of a CC target to chain CC. She can use her zap, you know, to add a little bit of extra burst damage. Like, Lucian obviously has spells and different combos he can use to get damage out. You know, even Kai'Sa, like, has her W that she can do to do a decent little chunk of damage. So, I don't know. I just feel like... And she has wave clear with her Q. Like, Vayne just... No wave clear, no early game presence, no burst damage, no CC. Like... If she gets, I think the Blather and King Gensu's is the best build on her right now. If she gets that, hey Rory, what are you doing? Did you find something? Did you find something, Rory?
No.
Yeah? Is she showing off her pants? Are those...
Showing off your new pants? Yeah. Those are her new pants.
Oh. Polka dots.
And there's a matching shirt. She might have both of them. Does she have both of them?
Yeah, she likes the clothes.
She picked out the outfit together.
Oh.
Isn't it cute?
That's cute.
Are you wet?
Cold.
Oh, nope, you're wet. Dang it.
But yeah, so she's okay. People will play her. She's probably one of the most popular picks. Let's see. Yeah, people just love playing Vayne. Well, she's not as popular. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think you trying to put your clothes on. Come here.
But yeah, I mean, she's better than she was. I think she's still got a lot of problems. And then Viktor, I don't think it's going to matter. I think Viktor's just bad. I listened to Scar's notes, and he was saying this 100 gold could be a really big deal for Viktor. I mean, kind of. Like, you do come online when you complete this item, but the same kind of applies. Not exactly the same as Vayne. Like, he does get wave clear, but he doesn't really have reliable CC. He doesn't have very good escapes. He's just a gank machine. I mean, if they end up, like, getting ganked machine, if they end up nerfing Rzye, Rzye, Cassiopeia, like some of these other champs into the dirt, then like maybe we'll see him again. I just don't think we're gonna go back to the days of Viktor. I mean, like nobody plays this champion, right? Yeah, I just don't think he fits into the current meta right now. They're just other champions that just have, you know, more wave clear, more CC, more burst damage. I'm not seeing it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this one. Like, he was very good, like, 3 years ago, but a lot has changed in the game in that time, and he doesn't have a good rune, as far as I can see. I mean, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I mean, Scar was like, oh, you know, this could be really strong. I don't think so. He has too many problems. There are just other champions that just do whatever it is he's trying to do better, pretty much. So he's just got to kind of go with Airy, which is just awful. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. But anyways, I think that's it as far as the stuff goes. Minimap icons now scale minimap size on Summoner's Rift. Players with 4K monitors rejoice. Okay. I really don't like how some of the icons are smaller, but whatever. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I haven't played the new game mode. Some people have said it's cool. Some people don't like it that much. That's fine. Like, I think they should, if they want to buff Viktor, it's okay to buff Viktor. He's bad. He's really bad right now. Like, this is not 2015. Like, you can buff him. It's okay. Just, you can probably knock off like 250 gold off of this thing, and he would not completely take over. Or at least don't charge him on the back. Just give him a discount. I don't know. Give him something, man. He's a cool champion, but he's just bad. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Be sure to check out the tier list. I do have a support tier list on the channel right now. I'm probably going to do an 80 carry tier list and a mid tier list for this patch as well. I might see if I can sneak in like a jungle or a top tier list, but be sure to check all that out. Also stream most nights starting around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check it out. We have a really cool, friendly community. It's a lot of fun. And then also have a bunch of coaching sessions, topical guides, individual champion playlists. So if you just want to watch like a lot of Janna or a lot of Tom Kench or whatever, I've got some games on there for you. So lots of stuff on the channel. Come check it out. And if you watch a lot of content and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to sign in and like. It really helps out. Helps other people find the content. Shows them that we have quality stuff. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.